Before we ever get to the printing presses, one of the first things we have to do is design our artwork. Today's design is a pretty simple 2-color notepad, so we're just going to design it in Adobe Illustrator. And most of the pieces are here, but one of the important things that we'll have to do is make sure to properly define all the colors in the artwork. The type of printing that we're doing today is called spot color printing. So I need to go through and make sure that everything has the proper 2 colors that we're going to print. So I'm just going to go through and define some of these color pieces and put this artwork together. And then that way when we get ready to print our printing plates, everything will print on the proper plate. We'll end up with 2 printing plates, one that's blue and has everything that's going to be printed in our dark blue, and then one that's teal that shows everything that's printed in that lighter blue color. So now we're in the press area and we have our 2 printing plates. We have the one that has everything that's going to be printed in the dark blue, and then we have a separate one for everything that's going to be printed in the teal. We're just going to punch some holes in the top of these to help the press hold on to them. So now we're just going to continue loading paper into the back of the press. So now we're just going to put our ink on the press. We've got to put one color on one side. So we're going to put the teal on this side. It looks really dark, but that's going to be our light blue. Adding a little more blue. We started putting our dark blue on already, but we're going to go ahead and finish inking up that side. And now we've got ink on both sides. Now we're adding our water bottle, which has some water and fountain solution. The water helps repel the ink from the parts of the plate where it shouldn't have ink. Now we're going to put our printing plate for our teal on the side where we put our teal ink. And see, that just rolls onto that roller. And we're going to put our plate that has our dark blue on the side with our dark blue ink. Adjustment, our press is running, and here comes the paper coming out of this end. So we can see it's printing both our blue and our teal on the paper. So now that everything's printed, we're ready to start making our notepads. We've got this nifty little tool that helps us count the sheets really quickly. So once we've counted out about 50 sheets, we're able to adjust it so that it'll count as many sheets as we have. So if we had a lot of sheets, we keep it like that. But since we only have 50, we go ahead and place it around our 50 sheets. And then that way we can just quickly go through the rest of our stack and pick up 50 sheets, put our chipboard behind it because that'll be the back of our notepad, and keep going like this. Every 50 sheets, stick a little piece of chipboard. And that's how we do that step. So now we're just going to glue our notepads together. We've already stacked the notepads up. You can see that they're all, this is all of them together. We put a little bit of weight on top, which you can't see, but that's just to help press the paper down. And now we have our glue in a paintbrush. This is just called padding compound, and really all that is just a glue. And you can see that it really just looks like, kind of like Elmer's glue, but it's a little thicker. And we'll just dip our paintbrush in, and really then you just paint across the paper until it starts to look wet. This is the fun part, and that's what we do. We just keep painting until everything's glued together nice and well. So now that our glue is nice and dry, our next step is to go ahead and separate our notepads. Right now everything is glued together, all the sheets. This is one big glued together clump. So we want to go ahead and separate the notepads, and all we have to do is lift at one of our pieces of chipboard where we know the bottom of our notepad is, and then just use a little tool to separate them, and they pull right apart. And that's how we'll get our individual notepad sets. And you can see there's still 2 up to a sheet, so you probably guessed it, but our next stop will be the cutter, where we'll go ahead and cut these in half, and then they'll be ready to go. For our last step, we're here at the cutter, and it just has a big blade that comes down and cuts those right in half.